Welcome. In front of me I have the brand new Google Pixel 9 Pro XL, that's a mouthful, and I'll be going over unboxing along with a quick look at the device itself, its specs and features. So popping it straight open, we do have these new kind of style pull tabs right here. So you yank those off, and then you can slide this off, flip it over. And I do want to point out, we have this kind of recycled packaging right here. You know, all the bullshit that every company claims that they care about the environment. We're not being fooled, you care about profits, not environment. But, you know, at least attempt was made. And the packaging itself, I do have to point out, is actually pretty nice. I do like the approach to it. It seems a simple thing, but when you're unboxing a more premium phone, you do want to have a nice kind of, you know, approach to it. Feel like the company kind of cares about presentation. And I want to point out for the non-Pro versions of it and non-XL, that's the same kind of design. So anyway, here we have just paperwork and the cutout for the camera. So the paperwork is actually held in there, so I'm not gonna yoink it out. Then you take out the phone, and below that you have the charging cable. And as you can see, there's nothing else apart from the charging cable in here. Now grabbing the phone, I'll just slide it out. It should slide out, I think. There we go, yep. And it does have this Apple-like aesthetic to it, in my opinion. So we have a glass flat back right here. What looks to be aluminum, I think. Wait, let me see what it is actually. Yep, it's an aluminum frame. Aluminum, depending on how you want to go. It is polished, so it does kind of attract fingerprints, but the back is matte finish, so it doesn't attract fingerprints. And one more thing that I want to kind of point out, the non-Pro version that I have right here is also built a little bit different. So it has a glass back, completely polished, as you can see, just mirror finish. And this one doesn't actually attract that much fingerprint. Okay, I would really need to want to put them on here. So for something that is made out of glass and like a very reflective one, it's actually resisting fingerprints pretty well. And obviously this one is matte, so literally nothing visible on here. Okay, now booting it up, we should have our setup screen visible in a moment, and I'm gonna go over the display right here. So this is running a 6.8 inch display with a resolution of 1344 by 2992 pixels. It is a LTPO OLED 120 Hz refresh rate with HDR10 Plus certification and a peak brightness of whopping 3000 nits. It also boasts a 88% screen to body ratio and 486. Not sure why I'm keep switching the last numbers up. 486 pixels per inch. And it's covered with a Cornell Gorilla Glass Victus 2. So there we go. And you can kind of see the bezels right here. They're pretty small all around. Like I said, it does kind of have this Apple-like approach to the look of it. The only thing that at least we don't have here is the dynamic island. But we still have a hole punched camera right up here, which you can kind of see. So display wise here, it's a fantastic display, no problems here. Now if we flip it over, we have our triple camera setup. Actually, I think it's a quad camera setup in reality. So we have a 50 megapixel f1.7 aperture, 25mm wide lens with dual pixel PDAF, multi-zone laser autofocus and optical image stabilization, then 48 megapixel f2.8 aperture, 113mm periscope telephoto, which would be this one. So this is the main one, I believe, the middle one, then the periscope. And next one is the 48 megapixel f1.7 123 degree ultra wide lens. So I presume that would probably be this one right here. And it doesn't really mention what this is in this case. Oh, wait. I don't think that's anything. What the heck is this? Yeah, it doesn't really say what that is here. Now, I want to point out I am getting all the information for this device from the gsmarena.com website, which is a pretty fantastic place to get any kind of phone specifications, as they do have a very nice clean layout. It looks nice, it's presented in a way that just makes it easy for me to get all of that. Anyway, let's flip it over to the front, where we have our hole punched camera, and that houses a 48 megapixel f2.2 aperture 17mm ultra wide lens. Now, going back to the back ones, you can record videos with those at 8K up to 30 frames, 4K up to 60 frames, 1080p 60, as well as slow motion at 1080p of 120 frames and 240 frames. And that also supports gyroscopic electronic image stabilization and optical image stabilization, along with a 10-bit HDR. And the front one supports video recording at 4K up to 60 frames and also 1080p up to 60. No slow motion though. No, that was a bit of a rundown with the cameras. Now moving on into the internals. The device comes with a 5060 mAh battery and supports wired charging at 37 watts, which is a bit pitiful for a 1200 euro device. It's completely pathetic. There are phones that charge at over 100 watts, and this phone, well, can't do even 40. For God's sakes, this 5-year-old phone does 33 watts. It's just a couple watts slower than this, and I can pick this phone up for probably $100 right now. This costs 12 times more. So yeah, I have a problem when it comes down to charging speeds. Not only do you not get with a premium device a effing charger in the box, so you don't get a full package while you're paying full freaking price, because prices didn't go down once the manufacturers start ditching chargers, because they care so much about the environment. So oddly enough, the prices are still the same, but you get less in the box. So yeah, that's pretty frustrating, I would say. So yeah, we don't get a full package. We don't even get that just pathetic 37 watt charger for a flagship grade device, which, what the fuck? But another thing that you also get here is a 23 watts wireless charging. Now, when it comes down to charging speeds right here, it's a little bit better than the non-pro version of this device, as wired with a actual supported charger using 37 watts. You get to use the power delivery 3.0, and that gets your phone up to 70% in 30 minutes. Same time for the smaller battery size on the non-pro version, the Pixel 9, you get to 55%. Now, still, it's not fast enough. There are phones that would literally charge fully in below 30 minutes. So this is still kind of shit, to be completely honest. Now, continuing on with the internals, the device comes with a whopping 16 gigabytes of RAM, which is more than MacBooks come with, and those apparently can run full-fledged operating system without much of a problem. So not sure why an Android device would need that much RAM. But what we would need, and probably would like to have more out of base entry, is a freaking storage instead of the obscene amounts of RAM. While this device comes with 128 gigabytes of storage, it comes with stupid amounts of 16 gigs of RAM with UFS 3.1. That's the base entry. Maybe Google, you could have thought about swapping, giving 12 gigs of RAM and 256 gigs of storage maybe. Probably would have been a better idea for a device that is designed for photos. But who am I to judge that? It's not like all my applications that I just use on a daily basis take more than 128 gigabytes of storage. It's not like I need more. Oh, and don't forget, there is no expandable storage in here. So you're kind of shit out of luck and you have to spend more, which we're then talking about more than 1200 euros. As the next entry just gives you that, double the storage of 256 with 16 gigabytes of RAM. Then you get half a terabyte and up to a terabyte. Obviously, each price is substantially more expensive with the storage right here, as manufacturers just kind of get away with this kind of bullshit, where they just give you less storage and then upsell you on the higher storage, which obviously costs way more than actual storage like that would cost. So typically, what is it, like $1 per gigabyte? You're gonna be looking at probably more than double here, or $1 per gigabyte, and here you're probably looking at double that. So yeah, a pretty bullshit move right here, but almost every company does that. If they didn't, we would actually have reasonable storage sizes at reasonable prices. So there we go. Now, anything else left to say? All right, the processor in here powering this device is a Google Tensor G4, and because this is a Pixel, what you also get is Android 14, but you also get up to 7 major Android upgrades. Now I want to point out this kind of weird wording, up to. Up to means that at max you're gonna get 7, at best you might get just 2. As if Google decides that it's not viable for them to support their older devices couple years down the line, they're obviously gonna ditch it. They've already done this multiple times. So saying up to isn't necessarily stating that you're gonna get the actual 7 years of support for this device. But if you do, it's a fantastic thing, as that would also include security patches, and obviously you're gonna get up to like Android version 21. So yeah, that's pretty nice. And other than that, let's talk about the actual experience right here. You're looking at basically the typical Pixel experience with all the nuances that Google decided to add to their own device only. So yeah, and it's basically what could be probably explained as a purist version of Android, though it differs very much compared to like the actual open source Android 14. So Android 14 open source is much shittier than what you get right here. So this is technically not a stock Android, but considering it's the same company, I would basically qualify this as a stock Android from Google, but only for Google. So yeah, so there we go. That's the device. It's a premium phone with a premium price tag, and that's basically it. So if you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit a like, subscribe, and thanks for watching.